We could have done an intro. Yeah.
Nope.
No intro for you.
No.
That's just...
We're just going.
Guys, 2 minutes early. Did you post on the socials?
No.
We can just wait here.
Could you scoot?
Well, wait 2 minutes. Let's talk about
All right,
something.
no talking.
Just
no moving.
There. Yeah, that's a little better.
No moving!
The dog. He's gone. My dog is gone.
Your nose is nice.
So is yours. Thank you. I appreciate that. Chris is ugly. God.
All right, everybody. 7:30. Congratulations, we made it. What a great stream.
Yeah, that was a good stream.
All right, bye.
All right.
You know, if you just had a stream of two dudes looking at each other for like 12 hours or 24 hours, that would probably good. It would probably be really good.
They're probably dead.
It would
They'd probably go insane.
They're
or something.
be like that one streamer I watched who just streamed paint drying for 72 hours.
What a gamer.
That's pretty sick.
That's it. He had like a peak of like 32,000 viewers at that point.
Dude, that's fucking awesome.
I mean,
That's like watching grass grow.
Yeah.
Dude, that
24
was a
hour,
wild
24 hour just like fireplace streams.
Yeah, that's
I mean, view baits on Facebook are literally videos where they have 5 seconds of content, 8 minutes of nothing, and then 5 seconds of content, and people watch the whole thing. People just watch nothing. Yeah, they literally sit there and watch nothing.
Like there's no way.
That's like a problem right now on Facebook that a lot of creators are really angry about.
It's like
People just make nothing videos and get millions of views because it's on Facebook.
Oh, it's on Facebook. Oh,
Yeah, because Facebook has their new Reel system, right?
Oh,
Kind of like TikTok and Instagram and all
Jesus.
that crap.
Well,
Critical talks about it a lot.
D&D, huh?
So
No.
No,
sweet.
Coming to a
Speaking of,
D&D stream, thinking there's gonna be D&D. Like,
we're
what?
talking about you.
How's it going? How's
Look at you.
life?
Hi, my name is Hayden Ears, Jacob Basikasa. I was born January 25th, 1995 at
Take your
8:03 a.m. Edmonton.
What's your social
wow,
insurance number?
it's just docs.
Bank account.
Wow.
Funny little digits on the back of your credit card.
It was the Edmonton Children's Hospital during a blizzard. Fun fact, January 25th is Robbie Burns Day. Let's see, I'm colorblind.
How many skills have you maxed in RuneScape?
All of them several times.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's 99 to every skill in RuneScape, multiple accounts.
Yeah.
Because he's a gamer.
Now, are they all in old or new? Or
Oh, a mix.
Both. This guy's maxed both old and new skills.
I can't even imagine maxing one.
he's
Like
cracked.
I've never just been able to sit down and
Highest
just
level I got in
send
RuneScape
it.
was 5, and then I never touched it again.
I've never gotten to the 80s in a skill, let alone the 90s,
Yeah,
which
isn't
is
it like-
where 50% of all the XP
yeah.
requires. It's 93 to 99 is
Something like
50% of all XP.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
brutal.
Once you hit 93, you're halfway there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I'm still just impressed on how into detail he was able to go into about being born.
Yeah.
How do you not remember where you were born and the information?
I don't remember the exact time.
That's
but
a
I do
guy-
remember where and
I know
night,
what city
day.
and the hour.
I have a funny story that I just remembered when I was 5. I watched a dude on a motorcycle get his leg severed because he took a turn too sharp and he got pinned between a power line and his motorcycle.
Pog.
Yo,
That's
whoa.
awful.
That's
Yeah.
rock and roll.
That's
Yeah, it was on the street corner I was living on in Surrey.
That's awful.
It was sweet.
That is-
Not really.
Probably.
Yeah, that's terrible.
rock and roll.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Speaking of
You want
Dungeons
more?
and
You want more
Dragons-
motorcycle accidents? No.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
This is the motorcycle accident
Yeah.
stream. This is a
So
this is a
plus
fire.
minus.
Yeah.
Just-
Yeah, what did
I
you
liked
like? What
watching his
didn't you
leg
like?
get pinwheeled off. I didn't like the trauma from seeing his leg get pinwheeled off. I'd like to see more of people's legs getting pinwheeled off.
Well,
So
we're
yeah,
not taking notes.
you're right.
Come on,
Yeah, what the hell's wrong with you?
So for real, let's
Okay, yeah.
let's send it. I got 1 + 1 minus. We're actually gonna start with Hayden this time.
What do you mean
Get
actually gonna
dunked.
start with Hayden this time?
Good.
What do you mean actually start?
I don't know.
I think he's saying.
Like
we normally
I
start
say,
with
I
Glenn.
normally start with Glenn
we
because I'm
normally start
usually
with Glenn.
sitting on that side.
No, you rotate. You switch every time.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Anyway, starting with you,
You.
go fuck yourself. Don't make me circ you off.
Perfect.
It took a lot. Took a lot to stop.
Let's see. Plus,
What?
Yeah, we're good. We're having a little giggle. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Honestly, like
I have ears.
I don't really have a plus. It was a shorter session. Not really a whole lot happens.
I mean, you know, Chris just died.
Chris
and,
died,
like,
but like
yeah.
that's not really a plus.
Chris didn't
That's
die.
not- That's not
He
a
got,
plus.
he got,
Well,
put,
he
he
got-
got put
yeah.
to the negatives.
Yeah.
He did.
A lot.
That's fucking what Heldrick? That's where we live, right?
Yes.
That's Heldrick propaganda. I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Drake
Yeah.
and propaganda.
He didn't
Yeah.
die.
He didn't die.
So
Yeah.
if I died, how come I was playing the rest of the game with the same character? Like,
Yeah, what the hell are you
Come
mean?
on.
What are you talking
But
about?
yeah, so
Yeah.
it was just
Like-
kind of a chill.
Chill. Yeah, it's like not a lot happened. You know, not a lot bad happened either.
Okay.
You know, my negative is like there was just a lot of crosstalk
Yeah,
in general. Just a lot of crosstalk.
I found that too.
And it was like a mix of just like I don't know, like I assume just like people being separated, so just multiple things are happening. But yeah, there was a lot of crosstalk overall. Let's see something I'd like to
I
see
thought the
more.
negative was going to be the other thing.
I'd like to see something happen.
Oh wow, fuck. You know what? Fair.
Get
So
right.
I just like to see a longer session because we started at 7:30.
Yeah.
No, we started at 8.
We started at 8
And
and,
ended
we
at
ended at
10:30.
like 10. Yeah, like 10:20.
Actually,
No.
a real something I'd like to see more of, like an actual like story, something to like sink our teeth into.
Yeah, we have a lot of
Yeah, and
finicky stuff, but nothing to grab onto yet.
we're getting a smell of it.
Yeah, it's like we get a little sniff of everything, but we never actually get a bite.
I don't know. I think there's stuff.
I mean, there's
No, there's
stuff, to, like,
stuff, but it's just like we haven't dived into it yet.
there's things to like do, but like nothing is, I guess.
There's no urgency.
There's no urgency to do.
Lack of
anything.
information,
Right.
effectively. We don't really
Yeah.
know anything
It's
yet.
like we
Yeah,
have the
that's-
things
I mean,
we can
that's
explore, but
hard.
we don't really have a reason to explore.
Right.
Them. There's these bandits, but we don't really know anything about them outside.
Yeah, all we know
I
is they're
agree.
bandits.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think because I definitely think.
I can be
I-
more blatant.
No, I think it's I get a vibe it's urgency because when we were dealing with the army and we felt like, oh shit, they're fucked, like they're gonna take us over and like, you know, we're gonna be fugitives now. That felt urgent. And it was like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, okay, we're getting tossed around and shit and thrown in jail. This is kind of cool. But then when it didn't turn out that way, it was like, oh.
Yeah, it went from urgency to like no urgency
Yeah.
whatsoever, which was
Yeah.
not bad, but it was interesting. I guess it was weird, but it was like because it was like, oh, they were captured, and then all of a sudden they were set free, and nobody really did anything to do that.
Yeah.
It just kind of happened.
Well, I mean, a part of that was like, I don't know. Part of that is like, in my head, was playing the reality of it, like what was actually going on, what made sense.
Like I said, it wasn't necessarily
Right.
bad. It just it's adding to the whole.
It's
A lot of little tastes of little things, but we
more
haven't
urgency.
really. Yeah, we haven't gotten any urgency towards anything yet.
Yeah, and I mean, a part of that is like I've been really trying to hammer the like kind of realism
Yeah.
a little bit
That's
more
fine.
this time, and like really playing out everything that would be happening in the timeline. And don't worry, things are, especially now after the last couple of things. Like it like that's one of those things that's just things will be happening.
Yeah.
It's okay. Sweet.
Anyways, I guess I'll go next.
What's your plush?
My plus was I actually did kind of enjoy the fact that it went like there was a little bit of chaos, but not too much chaos going on. So like the best way to describe it is like we got forced to be separated, but it wasn't because of people's weird actions or like anything like that, and it didn't take hours. if that makes sense.
Yeah, no,
Like, we
that
got
was like,
separated
yeah.
and it was a little bit chaotic and it was kind of interesting, but it wasn't just like I sat there for 2 hours waiting for somebody else to do their little adventure. It was like, okay, I think we sat there for like 20, 30 minutes at most.
Yeah.
And that's not a big deal to me. I like that kind of stuff because every once in a while, not all the time, obviously, but every once in a while, it's fun to have the group be like, oh God, we have to fix this instead of just like, Jesus Christ. Oh God, we have to fix this.
You can pull that closer. Like,
Yeah. Well, that might make it worse.
No. It
It'll
makes it
tighten
better.
it.
No, you bring it closer.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
trying
like
not to
even-
cut you out.
Oh yeah.
Just scoot over a little bit.
We got some
not.
technical difficulties.
Our like
They
super
have
high
it.
tech tripod problem. But yeah.
Yeah,
so,
they're actually floating on these hover orbs we purchased.
they
Yeah.
just float
Hover
on the
orbs.
sky.
Yeah.
Hover.
But yeah. So.
But yeah, the chaos. I kind of like the. It was a good amount of it. It would have been nicer to have a longer session. Not gonna lie, that's probably my negative. Longer session would have felt better, and a little bit to touch onto what Hayden said of just like it feels like I need more to invest into anything right now, effectively.
Right.
Whatever that looks like, I don't know, but it just it kind of feels. I don't know. It feels almost like we're on the brink of getting to the point where if we could just drop any of this and walk away, because not a lot's happening to us, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, do you kind of get what I'm saying there? Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not like I'm like, I don't care, but it's like, you know, it feels like every once in a while we get this little tidbit, but it's completely unrelated and out of nowhere, which is fine. But it's just we're getting all these little tidbits so much, and we're not really getting, like, the full thing yet. Which I'm assuming next game you're going to get into that anyways, but...
It's
Yeah.
The next session there's a
exactly.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
That's like a minor negative. It's not really a negative,
Put
but
a
it's
number
like, that's
on
all I
that?
can really say about the
never.
game, because,
Never.
like I said, not a huge amount happened.
Infinite.
One thing I'd like to see more of... just more world stuff like that. You know, an army showing up's kind of cool. It's kind of just out of nowhere, and it's like has nothing to do with us. And then they just show up and cause a little bit of like, oh God, this is happening. Like that's,
And then it
I
does
like
have to do with you.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good thing to bring into the game every once in a while. I'd like to see more stuff like that,
Cool.
but not too much.
Yeah, I want all of it, but not too much.
Not too
I don't
much.
want to be led by the hand, but I do want to have everything.
Don't
Yeah,
rail.
I-
Don't you
don't-
dare
don't
rail.
rail
happy
me.
I don't want
medium.
to open
But tell me
your
what's
game.
happening.
Yeah.
No, I get. Yeah.
You gotta find the happy
It's like
medium.
it's like all things, and it's some sessions are gonna have more of one than the other.
balanced.
Yeah.
is
All things should be. Yeah.
Smack it.
Balance.
Yeah, it just
my God.
flips around.
No,
the
that's
finger
where
and
it's
lines.
like
you know
a
what?
cat with
Fuck
a
you guys.
buttered toast.
I'm just gonna make you guys go through my book. My fucking. I'm gonna force you.
Yeah, just-
No.
yeah.
Well, it is the hard part of if you have like.
It's the same thing that every DM runs
The-
into
yeah,
every
the
time,
nature
no
of
matter
D&D.
what. It's
The
your
army arrives. Hayden, what do you want to
It's-
do? Oh, here's this cue card.
and yeah, and I mean
Hayden's quest.
that's
Prepare
why
to be unprepared.
that's a big part of why I like having these because it's like okay, well, yeah. So sometimes you need that. It's like okay, well, what do you guys need?
Yeah.
What you know and.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
more like we
so-
noticed it. It's not like it's like a problem.
No, right?
That's how I see it.
And that's the thing. And I know that this isn't, and that's the whole thing is like this isn't criticism. It's critique.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
it's a
Exactly.
yeah. So perfect.
Well, Glenn.
Yeah, Glenn.
This will be useful later.
Ooh, murder.
Hacha!
That would do it. That was my weakness.
The one thing that would defeat Chris.
The one
Stapler.
thing. Stable. To the right shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, I like the involvement of the army. I think just the ability to role play through that was fun. Yeah, that was cool. I like that. Yeah, my minus just pretty much just comes down to like it was too short of a session to let anything happen. Because it felt like, the army's leaving now. We'll go and do the thing we meant to do and go fight the bandits. And then the session ended. And I'm like, well, okay. Stuff like, fucking whatever.
Yeah.
And then we didn't level up. That's my big negative.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid.
Ridiculous.
Which comes down to not having a long enough session. We could this week
know, you're
coming
right.
up.
If
We
we
leveled
played
up.
I'll just send a Draculich at you guys. It'll
Do
make
it.
easier.
Do it.
We'll send it.
Do it.
We will leave
Give
Chris
me a
behind.
Dracula.
We'll get not only get the
No,
Draculich's
no,
XP, but we'll get the town's XP.
You're right.
Yeah.
and a Draculich.
Yeah.
And the orphanage. Balls.
Yeah.
You're
Balls.
right. Ball.
Oh, hey, Batsy, how's it going? What's up, buddy?
Balls.
Balls. But yeah, and you know what? I get a part of it was like it just felt like such a good natural end to the session, and we had already been playing for 3.5 hours or 3 hours.
That was only
What?
2.5.
No, it was
2.5.
3 for
We
sure.
started- we started-
2.5.
Really?
We started late, ended early.
I thought that it was like 3.
No.
Oh,
It just
anyway.
felt longer because no combat.
Shows who
I
was
guess,
having
yeah.
fun.
Yeah. It
No,
felt
I was
Yeah.
I was having fun. It really just felt like I thought that it. Yeah. Anyway, I had checked the time. Anyway.
This is for you.
Yeah. Thanks.
There you go, buddy.
So,
There you go.
but yeah, but you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a bit of a long session, and a part of that is like starting when we're supposed to start. I mean that day in particular as well. Like I got up so late after my nap to start working on things.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that was you also mentioned that you just weren't feeling all that great.
Well, I mean that's when things start, and getting sick kind of sucks. But it does. The point is that it's like just longer session, more chances to have stuff happen. I think that everybody can kind of agree. Chug the rest of that 2 liter. Oh god,
That's not for me. I'm sorry.
This is mine.
I'm not allowed to drink that.
This is mine.
Chug
Yeah,
it.
I'm not allowed.
But
to.
he's
I'm
even a
coffee.
chug.
God, has he just like
This is
caressed
For
his
most people,
injuries?
that's
This guy's a
do
monster.
the,
Watch.
do
He's
the,
just-
do
it's
the
just
whirly
gone.
bird.
No, he doesn't need to. He already knows how to open his throat.
This guy's a monster. He's
He's an absolute
well.
beast.
This is the beast that's been told by doctors to
Stop
drink
enabling
less
him.
water.
Yeah, he's supposed to drink less.
Doctors hate me.
Either stop enabling him or go so far.
I
that he
disrespect
dies.
doctors.
But yeah, and one thing you want
cannot
to see
claim
more
to be
of.
the doctor of disrespect
Glenn.
unless you disrespect doctors
Something
like
to see
me.
more of?
Yeah,
The
just more-
sessions.
Yeah.
The
More
session.
EXP.
Yeah, no, yeah, just more. I like the urgency. I think a bit more urgency would be nice because because the army thinking that we were traitors, definitely added that sense of like, oh fuck, like we need to either run or fight or something. Like yikes, yeah, because with the bandits before when they like killed someone, it was like oh shit. But then ever since then, the bandits have just been kind of like hanging out. And like just they're like we're bandits. We hide in the woods and do nothing. And it's like, okay, well, cool.
What are
I
you
guess
doing here?
I guess we gotta go in the woods and fight the like HP bar bandit boss standing there, and you have to go up and whack him until he drops his loot.
Yeah.
It feels more like we're
Yeah,
home
that's enough-
invaders. They're just
that's-
hanging
Yeah.
out, and then we show up and shit
Yeah.
starts. Like,
Yeah.
That's a good point of like I see there's probably stuff behind the scenes we don't know about that you're thinking of,
But I mean,
it does kind of feel like the world only revolves around us right now. Do you get that idea?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
Like
see.
the
I see
only
what you're
reason
saying. I
things
see what you're
happen is
saying.
because we're present, right? Because like we walked away from the bandit camp and we were gone for like what?
Well, even
3,
that,
4 days?
I think like we just need to be involved more.
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
Because like
There's too much background, not enough foreground.
Yeah, because the only
Yeah.
time the bandits were a problem was when the first fight we had with them, and then when they were dealing with the archaeologists, who their guards pushed them across the river, and now they're just hanging out, and it's like, oh,
yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I mean that makes sense.
It's like,
Sweet.
damn, we were defeated once and always.
yeah,
forever.
damn.
Yeah, what if the forest bandits was just the entire species of Laura?
And then we gotta chop down all the trees.
Yeah,
right?
you just gotta cut down the trees.
I got it.
Shoot.
Fuck the
Make some
trees.
feet.
Fuck the whales. Fuck Obed High. We're burning this bitch to the ground.
Yeah.
Wise words. Of the-
I've got a
Bam.
wizard character from
Yeah.
another
Fuck Obed
game
High.
that
No, that was
whose
the
whole
great-
story is why
great
that's a bad
brand.
idea.
Listen, we've started forest fires in D&D before. We'll do it again.
Please don't bring up that one time with the
What do you mean that
platypus.
one time? It happens a bunch.
Which time?
The time with the evil platypus and me
God
drinking a
bless evil
potion, you
platypus.
thinking I was disappeared. And
Yeah, no, elves not great for your mental state.
wasn't that game with Connor and the other Connor, and he got murdered by someone with a scythe? Was that you?
Me.
Yeah, you
Oh
killed him
god.
with a
I
scythe.
thought.
In the middle of the night.
I thought you were talking about
Was that an Aaron
What was
game?
your
It was Aaron
Yeah.
game.
What was your in Corvosa? Your little guy. I can't remember.
The guy who
Trilobite.
Yeah,
Troglodyte.
Trilobite.
But what was his little?
No, the
Isotod?
Isotod. That's the one. Yeah.
from Corvosa.
I thought you were talking about Isotod when you said platypus, and I thought you were talking about Corvosa when we burned it to the
mildly
ground.
dank
Like,
here like an old basement. Well, we are in the upstairs right now,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, it's 5 men living in the same house.
It always smells like a
it's not mild.
No, it's not.
Just,
It's very strong. It makes your eyes.
Deodorant daily or else.
Yeah. But yeah, sweet. I
like or
more
else.
urgency.
I
Foreground
don't
action.
like or else.
It's like I like that it did feel more like a world building kind of session with the inclusion of the army. We're told, oh yeah, it's wartime, conscription's happening, which we were like, oh no, fuck that.
No.
But I did like how seriously they were going on about that.
Talking to the man next to you. Oh yeah, he's stinky.
Stanky.
He's the old
Stinky,
man.
Yeah.
Crusty.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The old man.
Yeah.
That was
I
the
mean-
saddest I've ever heard you
I
admit
mean,
to
it's-
being an old man.
I mean, God, the joke's been going how many years now? Like, fuck, there's only so
But if you
hard
got
you
young-
can fight. Maybe if you just reversed time on
Listen,
yourself.
like we said, if you watch God plant Yggdrasil, you're bound to be told you're old once or twice.
Yeah.
Once
Once
or
or
twice.
A minute.
But you sealed your fate when you said prude nectar.
That's
That's
good,
when you
yes.
sealed
That
your
was-
fate.
that was rough.
that was
That was an old. That's an
I
oldie.
was just
We'll explain
like
some other
you.
time.
I just that's a story for another time.
Yeah,
But-
another time.
But something my minus. I thought those two guards that showed up at the shack were going a little too hard on we're gonna find these people instead of maybe just kind of leaving a couple letters, because that's all it turned out to be in the end, was just some letters of meet up at this time.
I thought that was fine.
That is a good point actually.
the
'Cause,
letters
like,
at the
they're
end
like,
was weird.
we'll
but-
find you if
Yeah.
you're trying to hide. Because you're gonna get conscripted. We're gonna conscript you, and we're gonna beat the shit out of you if you don't get conscripted. Anyway, now that we have you, here's some letters.
Yeah, like
Please be
Please
here in
meet
4
us
months.
at a place
Yeah, 'cause-
that you can run away from.
Yeah.
Like what?
That was the idea
in
of
this
urgency
easily
down into
escapable
Yeah.
That
time.
is, yeah. Actually, that's
Went
a
from
very
urgent.
good point.
Yeah, went from urgent to like.
Now
not
that I
urgent.
have you right where I want you, I'd like to buy all your chocolate.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie. From my point of view, I was that game. I was like, okay, once it's back to me, I have to figure out how to free these guys before they get carted away into the army.
To work for half of a stream tomorrow. Are you streaming tomorrow? Am I streaming tomorrow?
Your face is right in the
streaming.
camera.
Huh?
I mean,
what?
I am, but
Where?
I don't see
I don't
it.
get it.
Show me.
No, I am there.
But yeah.
Why? But
It was like a big yeah.
Yeah, it went up, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, it doesn't matter.
yeah, it's
anymore.
like when they were like going hard, yeah, it felt like, oh god, if we don't escape, we're going now.
yeah.
And then
And then they gave me papers to just give to them. It was
For-
like-
It felt like everybody
Whereas
got
it felt
scot-free.
it felt
They
like
got off
if
scot-free.
they had caught us or caught them, they would have like clamped irons on them and be like, okay, we're gonna brand you, and you're gonna the penal battalion, and we're gonna put you in the front. And instead, it was just like, here's some letters.
Here's some papers. Yeah.
Please show up at this
It makes
designated
sense.
location for the tea party.
yeah, it's like
I was like, what?
This is coming from the dwarven commander who said lying is a
Yeah,
killing.
I will
It is-
kill you if
yeah.
you lie. By the way,
Here's some papers.
I'm gonna give you a perfect opportunity to run away.
Yeah, that's what I
And
mean.
never
Him saying
comes.
that, that's fine, but just like he didn't follow through.
Yeah.
yeah, he threatened and then he went, okay, it's fine now.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, totally. Yeah, it's just like
Yeah, urgency
just
and consequences. like-
if the urgency is there, just ride it.
Yeah.
Just ride it.
Yeah, exactly. If it's there, just keep going.
Yeah, just-
And like if we can't figure it out, oh well, we messed up. Things
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
As long as you're not like purposely ruining our day, like
Yeah.
you know, that's how the dice land. Like
Yeah, because
if I got captured and we all went to the army,
yeah.
now we gotta get out of the army.
Yeah, it's like now it turns into the choice of do we save them or is it just bye?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
This is how shit
a
goes.
decision needs to be made because it was already established that no, we're going into wartime. We knew the army was coming.
I mean,
Not-
I was a little shocked.
Yeah, it's like not. Yeah, I was like, yeah, we knew they were coming, but yeah, like so soon that was like a oh.
Yeah.
But-
Like, oh boy.
But that was the thing, like yeah, we knew eventually they were gonna show up.
yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't like a suddenly this is happening now. It's like oh god.
Yeah.
You did a good job of establishing it before.
Yeah.
So.
So yeah, like in that scenario, yeah, like,
Consequences should stay similar to what they are imposed to be.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because if
Stop being nice to us.
We'll just treat it realistically. Like if they're hounding us and willing to kill him just to capture some 3 dudes to join the army, then they should
Then
be
it would
pretty
be
hard.
right now.
They should be
Yeah.
pretty hardcore about that.
Yeah.
Instead of now that we have you. Anyway, we're gonna leave.
It's the recompense.
We're gonna leave and give you this. Yeah, like it was just bizarre. Yeah, thinking about it now, yeah,
It's kind of a
bizarre that they were like so hard ass about we need these 3 men. Like we're willing to kill one of them just to get them, and now we're gonna give them letters and leave. It's like
kind of a weird. Yeah. And I mean,
Very
my
weird
thinking on that was like I was considering the time of year. And I was like, okay, well, what
Right.
makes sense, right? Like how?
But,
but I could have just went, we're just
If
gonna
you
take you to the capital.
Yeah, if you pick a choice,
Exactly,
just,
right.
just like if you want them to not be hard ass, you want to give the letters, just do that. Be
Just to
like,
give the letters,
okay,
yeah.
they're like, oh, they're hiding. Okay, but we're still gonna. Okay, we're gonna give them the letters, give them an opportunity to join the army peaceably, and then if they don't, then after they become hard ass, instead of I'm hard ass. Letter and it's like,
Instead of the opposite,
these really
which
mixed,
doesn't make any sense.
Just mixed messages from a authoritative figure that seems like he's
Give me a letter, give me
altogether.
death.
Yeah,
Right.
It's like because the dwarf fleet commander of the army seemed like he knew what he was talking about, and he argued with me on very good points. But then he has these super mixed messages about how he's actually recruiting, and it's what the fuck? Like,
it seemed like it was recruitment or death were the options, and then all of a sudden they came down to you can do whatever you want.
it's just
here's this
just
very
pick,
affordable time and location.
yeah.
And I mean, if you want to think about the realism of it too, if that's on your brain, an army coming out to a small village to fight that much for 3 men, that costs a lot of money. Leaving empty-handed ain't gonna look good.
Yeah.
If they go out and go, yeah, we found some dudes, we left them some letters. I'm pretty sure somebody would get either kicked out of the army or excommunicated or something, because that's a lot of resources that just got thrown into the dust.
Yeah.
Because you gotta feed the men there and back.
Yeah, especially coming back.
Yeah, it entirely depends on like how you want to work it. Right?
Yeah, however
like,
you want to work
If the army's just passing by,
Well,
they just drop the letters off and go, then that could be just a quick thing.
Well,
But
that was
they're
the
there to
biggest
be
thing.
like, we are going to put our boot down and make sure everyone's in their place, and it's like,
Yeah,
okay,
they should
is that
follow
what they're
through
gonna-
with
yeah.
that
Yeah.
action.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
pick an aspect for them.
Because
right?
it very
Like,
much felt like they were there to get us.
Yeah.
Solely. Like, that was the whole reason
Yeah,
they were
exactly. It's the, now that I have you right where I want you, and then the letters, and it's like,
there. Here you go.
Like, there was no reason to make Geraldine.
Yeah.
If they were just dropping off letters, we didn't need to go through all that trouble.
That is
Yeah,
true.
no, we didn't.
I mean,
we
no.
didn't need
No,
to
it was.
feminize
No. That was necessary.
Yeah.
necessary.
It wasn't. Not for him. But
Not for the
It's
army.
a lot like
Not for
if
that.
you say to me, join my religion or die.
That
Yeah,
was pretty
join my
much-
religion or die. Actually, here's the papers to come join the church.
Here's
Here
the
you
book
go.
that tells
We're
you
gonna
where
go
to
back
go.
to the Holy Land, and we'll come back in a few months, see how you're feeling. Okay?
Yeah. That's how the Crusades were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
I mean, that makes sense.
non-Christian? Yeah, we'll just give you a little letter here. It's fine. We won't
Yeah,
rape
Just
and
like
pillage your
go,
city.
I think really the biggest takeaway
Yeah.
is if I go all the way.
Yeah,
and
if
I
you're
think
gonna
that's
go
with
for it.
anything.
Well, just
It's
have like consistency with what a thing is, like because you came. This army showed up and they were very hardcore,
yeah.
and I'm like, okay, they're hardcore, and they were hardcore until the letter thing happened, and then it was like, oh,
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is like, and in my brain, it made sense only because they won't need men at the capital until the spring.
right.
So
Maybe just use that information to inform their actions, right?
Yeah.
Why would they hunt him down and kill him just to give him a letter to tell him, hey, we need you in spring?
Yeah.
If they weren't urgent about getting us, then they shouldn't have made it seem
Yeah,
urgent,
and
right?
They might not have even talked to us. They might have just gone up to what's her name, and gone
Sent out
here.
the letters,
yeah,
yeah.
gave her the letters and be like, give these to all your young men.
Yeah.
We're gonna go. It's on your responsibility to
Yeah.
get these men. We're not dealing with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Makes
exactly.
sense.
Yeah, because them coming to the house and like searching things, that means they were probably searching other houses. Like that's a
Yeah.
lot of work.
That felt like a you're hiding anyone in the house?
Yeah, that felt very Nazi.
Oh.
Like, oh, you're coming to take your
It's like,
children.
oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean that's one of those things. It's like hindsight's 20/20. In
Yeah.
the moment, it made sense in my head, but it's just one of those like take a step back,
Yeah.
relax a little bit
Yeah,
as
yeah,
we're
yeah.
going through this, and just really pick a aspect and go.
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
way.
exactly. Just have
yeah.
consistency with, like, just integrity with characters, right? Like, if a character is acting away, The only time they should change is if something happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this hardcore army should be a hardcore army unless something happens. Like, maybe they're a hardcore army, and then they get fucking, like, decimated by a battle, and then suddenly all the men are like, wow, my professional attitude is gone.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and I mean, even in that kind of a situation, then they'd even be more aggressive with their recruiting tactics. Like, then they're definitely pulling your wearing
Yeah.
change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just really,
Yeah.
just do a little bit more.
Yeah. It's
Think
hard to
on
get
that
out of the
stuff.
DM
Well,
trap
yeah,
of going,
just-
I'm thinking of
well,
30
just-
things.
Well,
yeah.
Just in the moment, just think about, like, why, like, yeah, just use
in the moment,
use
yeah.
the information to inform actions. That's
Yeah,
it.
and you know,
That you have.
yeah, and
It's just, it was probably just a flub. Like, I don't even.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
a big
yeah,
deal.
At the end of the day, it's like whatever.
yeah, totally.
Just interact.
Just something
Yeah,
about it.
but that's a good. That's
It's very
that's a good
funny,
thing
though.
to think
It
about.
is funny to
It
think
is a
about.
funny. It's funny.
Oh,
guy
yeah,
shows
I
up
didn't
with-
even in here.
Don't
Okay, here's
worry,
a
we'll
letter.
be back.
Yeah, don't worry, you can show up if you want.
Oh, you were hiding someone under the floorboards. Here's some papers. We're gonna go now.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna go
yeah.
now. We got stuff
But
to
yeah,
do.
and one thing I want to see more.
One thing I want to see more of doesn't exactly relate to that
Yikes.
specific session, but just as an overall, maybe some more not life or death combats.
I
Because
mean,
that seems like a good chunk of our fights have been someone is bound to die.
Well,
Because we're very, no, 'cause I mean,
I think that's solely on your end. I don't think that's for all of us.
I think just make combat escalate to the level it should be appropriate to,
Appropriate
right?
to, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if these guards are just trying to give him a paper or recruit him, they don't want him dead. They're not going to come at him with a
but that's
spear.
they also weren't thinking like that he was going to run away necessarily.
Right,
And
but
the
if he runs away,
Like,
maybe
yeah,
they
there's
should be
other
like
things.
cops. Maybe they should just come and maybe smack him with the blunt end of the spear, like a quarterstaff style, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that one was a bit of an odd one, but I
Yeah.
mean, to be fair,
Again, just use
Not a big
information
deal.
to inform
Yeah.
actions.
Yeah,
That's it.
it
because I can see
No,
the other
it
side
was
of
the
the
other
other
thing. I
soldiers,
can totally
they
see what
weren't
you're saying.
thinking, and they're just like, we have to capture him, stab him with my spear, stab. Oh, he's dead. Oh,
yeah, that's the way I was saying.
Because
It's like,
it
what do
pushed
they
you into a corner, it was
actually?
like,
What do
either-
they actually
Because
have?
they're trying to kill me. I have to try and kill them, or else
Right.
I'm gonna die.
No, just it's like, albeit, I get downed in every single combat. It just, feels like, every combat, aside from maybe the moose, just has been.
Hey, that was life or death. A moose died.
Yeah, but it's been like a very serious, like, if we don't do this, oh god, we're dead kind of fight.
I don't think that's necessarily like that one combat. Maybe.
I've haven't been injured in like 4 sessions.
Yeah, like I said, that's mostly on your
A
end.
part of that is like, well, it's funny because you're not actually an upfront fighter, but
you
but
just get
you
targeted.
choose also to go in.
Some of the situations have forced it.
So,
The
I
Goblin
mean, yeah.
Cave forced.
Dog,
the
yeah.
pit fight
The
forced.
goblin fight,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, especially the pit fight, where I'm just like, I'm
Yeah.
not
The dog
injured.
one, to be fair, could have been played around
was
differently,
fucked up, and
things
I'm
like
just
that.
like,
It was a big open
yeah,
area.
let me just
That's just
give it
how
up.
it ended up. That wasn't anyone's fault, I don't think. But like the Goblin Cave, definitely forced situation. Nobody's fault, but Chris was in a position he couldn't really choose to get out of. Same with the pit. Kind of in it, kind of surrounded, can't really get out. Like it's just how it ended
I
up.
think it's all just comes down to a aspect of your character, because like at the end of the day, if you were your character in that situation and you valued your life desperately, you'd probably just run away.
Yeah.
And how are they going to catch you?
But well, yeah. I mean, it's up to you how you play that out because I
Right.
don't see Chris's character doing that.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So he built his
Right.
character to be this honorable, kind guy. So he's not going to run away.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's going to get into situations where it's like, oh fuck, I might die here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and it's been just like a couple cases of bad positioning, and because I mean we even had a discussion one of our times where it was like we need these combats to feel more threatening because you weren't feeling threat. It wasn't life or death.
Well, I think it's the
think it's
situation. Like, I don't think you've done a bad job yet. I think every combat so far, other than maybe the last one, seemed a little odd. But like everything else, it suited the situation.
Yeah,
Bandits,
I agree.
of course they're going to kill us. Why not? I get it.
Goblins, yes.
They don't seem to care. Goblins, why would they not
Yeah.
kill us? That doesn't make
I
sense.
think
Like,
it comes down to our
dogs, of course they're
going to
try and rip your
combat,
throat
right?
out.
Because like a lot of the times we're either split up, or we have the wrong people in the front, or we fall into a trap, blah blah, right? It's just it's kind of our choice thing, right? We could choose to use tactics and be smart, but 9 times out of 10 it's us
Yeah,
all
we have
playing.
yet to do that.
9 times out of 10.
Please.
No, there was.
We had a plan
None of it ever went
with
through.
a log.
It didn't work.
It works.
And that
50%.
nine times out of 10,
But it was a plan.
we play as individuals in a team fight.
Yeah, not
right?
as
we,
players
Like
in a
when
team, right?
when I'm fighting, all I do is kind of just go bombs, right?
Yeah, we
Until
don't.
that last fight where I just buffed you once and that's it, right? We kind of all just play as individuals.
And
in
we
a
never
team.
really
And
help each other.
If I
to
could,
make a
if I
good
could
point.
just make a point on that, right now especially, you're the only upfront fighter.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not.
He's
supposed
But
to.
that-
No.
no.
That's the thing.
But well, okay, yes, there's
Bruce.
Bruce.
And Mortimer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, now.
I have 18 AC.
Oh, yeah, right,
I'll
he's a
try and
player.
find
Now.
out.
Oh, okay.
Now.
Yeah.
Now.
But to be fair, the only people up
Before-
front were you and Hayden every time. Even if you tried to position yourself a little bit differently,
And
you're
you
a
always
big guy with big stuff, and you have a giant log on your back.
and the other thing is that I think you like using the log a little more than you.
He likes the punishment.
I was about to say,
Listen,
you're a masochist, aren't you? You're a little
I like the
masochist.
hurt.
You like it.
Listen, the log was hilarious.
You're not gonna
and
admit
I've
it,
got the log with reach. Like, yeah, I see an opportunity. I'm gonna want to use the
Yeah, no,
log.
it makes sense.
But
Makes sense.
your character, as you've told me, and the character that you've wanted to build is supposed to be for range.
Yeah. But when things get this close to me, range isn't much of an option.
Yeah, but to be fair, most things are going to do that.
Right.
That's not
it's
his
about
fault.
closing.
No, but
it's about
yeah,
closing it.
that,
And
no,
the
but
other
that's
thing
why,
is
like,
low.
yeah, I resort to melee weapons because now.
No, I don't think, like I said, I don't think anyone's doing anything wrong here. I think it just comes down to Chris, your character is kind of melee based, whether you want him to be or not, just because of the
I think-
situation.
Yeah, I think it's all up to
Yeah.
your tactical choices. Like during the pit fight, what could have happened if you wanted to not be in melee? Is you could have just run to one of the trees, climbed it. What are they gonna do? You just shoot them from the tree. You
Yeah,
just go
just-
bang bang.
yeah.
They're like, we have a spear and shield. I have to put these down to climb. I start climbing. You just shoot them in the head, right?
Or you know,
Like in that combat, when I got
it's all
stabbed,
just about
I blamed
it's
myself.
all about when stuff like that happens. It's all about tactics because you don't have to stay in the fight when you're in melee. You could just go, I'm gonna take a withdrawal action, or I'm gonna take the hit, take a full move, and just fucking sprint. What are they gonna do? They have to full sprint to get at me now. Are they gonna full sprint at me, or are they gonna turn around and notice that there's someone with a spear right next to him as well?
Here's the other
Or a guy
thing.
with a bomb.
You can also decide to go, okay, well, since I want to be range, I'm going to stay back from the group.
Yeah.
Because especially in that combat, especially like the hard combat, everybody just kind of walked.
We were all
Everybody
did a
just
terrible
kind of
job.
walked
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
They
We
just-
did not
everybody just went like.
I did exactly what I wanted
I know
to do.
you guys.
I used the horse's cover.
That's good, Shambo. And like, it's
Just think about it in the moment.
and that's a hard thing because again, for whatever reason, it's something in between us, like where you're going in on creatures that you
And creatures are going in.
And
on
creatures
No,
are going in on
he
you.
doesn't. He's never gone
Hold
in.
on, yeah, no,
He's never gone in.
I've
What
kept
has
distance
happened?
and fire and things.
What has
run at
happened
me.
is he'll stand still. That's your downside. Is you
You do,
generally
yeah.
do just stand still and shoot from where you're standing. And so something goes, he shot me. I'm gonna attack him. You don't move. You almost never move.
Yeah, the only
Yeah.
time I've ever had a problem with Seth's like fighting thing was the tactical dog.
Yeah,
tactical dog.
And
Oh,
initiative, but we're not. That's not what I'm talking about. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's getting better. Either way, tactical dog. That was the
Tactical dog.
only time I ever went. What the
Tactical
fuck?
dog.
You know what? I'm just gonna have tactical dog now. He's
I
somewhere.
mean, it's a thing.
Yeah.
somewhere in
Yeah,
there.
that's the only
It's
time.
tactical
That's the
dog.
only time in combat where I've gone, wow, that's kind of weird for the NPC to do that.
Yeah.
Like even in the pit fight, I was like, this makes total sense. These guys have weapons. We're in a pit. They're gonna push their advantage and come up and try and fuck us up.
I mean,
My only problem with that was you prepped this big board and we didn't.
Well,
do
yeah,
that.
it was-
But that had nothing to do with how NPCs reacted. The
Yeah,
only
they
time
did
I
go
was like,
with
this isn't realistic was the dog.
Yeah, the dog was the only.
Tactical dog
Tactical
backs up. The ranger. Ah!
Yeah.
I'm gonna charge.
I think it's a good point to say that the two guards that them just outright killing Chris was a little strange.
A little sus.
But like I said, I see the other side you came from, so it's like.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and so
We just try new things.
Yeah.
So-
And like I
yeah.
think we need more situations for our group where we're not running to death. 'Cause we do
how
that a
about
lot.
this? Creating combats a little bit more with your character's bonuses in mind. Do you know what I mean? Your benefit, but
I mean-
then it's like,
I mean, if you're doing that, just an aberration or two.
yeah.
It's like that's. Like that's where I get a lot of bonuses.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like building fights around one person specifically.
Yeah,
Well, no, but I mean, there are just situations, and that this falls into one of those like D&D and like class specific things. Is that when you have, and we talked. That was the whole reason we talked in the beginning. Is that like I want to play a ranger? Okay, I have to build the game and a lot of encounters around that.
Yes.
Right.
I get what you're
To make you feel like the character you're playing is viable.
It's viable.
You wanted to play a particular type of character. That's great. It's a good thing. You know, you want to have a particular style of play.
Okay. I just had a funny thought. I'm like, you know, you can build combats around like that give like I'm like, my brain was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like you build more varied combats to let people use their advantages, like you know, like a chasm, and since all of us have some ranged option, except maybe Mortimer now. I don't know. Do you have ranged options? You can send your boy forward.
Well, he's a cleric. He technically has range.
You can send your boy forward. You can send your boy.
Yeah, Bruce.
We all kind of have a ranged option, right? Yeah. I'm very ranged. You're very ranged. You're ranged. Yeah. Like I was like, oh yeah, a chasm would be perfect. Like, oh, we're fighting across a chasm. But then I thought to the bridge fight, and I'm like, oh, but you just put guys on our side of the bridge that attacked him immediately.
Yeah. Every fight there has been something that goes immediately at him.
And that's not on purpose. I swear to God.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, it has, like I said, it's positioning. Chris has always been in unfortunate positions most of the time. Whether he chooses to or not, most of the time not.
No,
right? And also we can always keep in mind we can like choose to take fights or not. Like if we
that's the other thing, we can run.
We can choose to run to a more advantageous place. If they chase us, we're like, okay, we're gonna like fall back. Maybe we fall back across the bridge and they can't shoot at us. Now they have to cross the bridge. They get on the bridge and we go, ha ha, bah, bah, bah,
You know what though? That being said, designing every encounter to put the PCs at a disadvantage to increase difficulty. No. There's something to be said about making an encounter where the PCs have an advantage.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That's a big part.
You should do both.
I think that's a more than reasonable thing. I think that's a fair statement too. Right.
I think if you're gonna build an encounter, put in place a thing that will advantage and disadvantage the players if they choose correctly, right? Like if they make a smart choice, like if they do something cool or smart, you're like, oh, that was cool and smart. They get an advantage. Yes, what I did in one for one of my games, for example, there was a big rat pen that these mites were keeping. Yeah. And what I set it up for was the mites the rats were locked, so the mites had to get to the lock, unlock it to release the rats. And so that'd be a huge disadvantage. But the advantage was the rats were locked in there, and if they could stop the mites from opening the gate, the rats never got out. So they just would shoot the shit out of the mites that ran at the lock and made the encounter much easier for themselves.
Yeah, definitely rewards smart gameplay is a big thing. That's for sure.
Still went down.
Yeah. Still went down. He jumped down and fought the shit out of them.
In any game I'm in currently, I've not had a combat where I've stayed conscious.
Choices matter.
Choices matter.
Choices matter.
This is starting to sound like less of an ish me.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be real.
I mean, in that one, it makes sense. That guy is meant to charge in and be at the forefront. This one, sometimes.
There's been a lot of times where something just charges him.
That is true.
Tactical dog.
Just your hand, buddy.
Wait,
you got a problem with Handy?
Yeah, you got a problem with hands?
Mr. Cloud Nose?
Yeah. But I think that's not really Seth or Chris's fault.
Yeah, I don't think we just had enough combats to like.
That's the other thing. We don't have a good amount of examples. We've had goblins and bandits. That's really about it, right? And both are death.
And militia now.
And moose. We had a roper.
And there was a roper or
choker. But it wasn't a fight. It was like a unfortunate.
It was him getting jumped in the dark.
That's on you. That was an aberration.
The one thing you should be able to fight.
That was on the dice.
He rolled really low to notice.
Yeah, that's another thing to be said. Is like
dice do matter. Dice matter and choices matter.
You can't roll.
That's why I said don't roll. Just be like me.
You just gotta practice more.
Practice more.
Chris,
when do I roll dice?
Chris, I'm gonna make a vow right now. I vow that if you choose to use that new set of dice you use, you'll get good rolls.
No, but you see that the set of dice I'm using right now, that's for that.
But here's the problem. No, keep going.
I was like, that set of dice used, that is for Goligar. The next set of dice is gonna be for whoever's next.
That's the problem.
That's
That is
Yeah, the problem. You're already accepting this.
I always change my dice up a little bit.
yeah,
I
man,
pick
it
two
doesn't have
sets
to be
and I go,
next,
I'm gonna use
just
these
whoever's next.
two, and then
Gotta
maybe
give the
the
dice a
Never
break.
know
Maybe
again.
they're
This
tired.
is it.
maybe they're
This is
sleepy.
it.
They're they're a little stressed out.
Always give your
they've been
dice a break.
Yeah, you've been rolling this. You've been rolling these dice for this really stressful character for these dice the whole time. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why
They
they
need
give
a
Needs
break.
a
They're
fresh,
stressed
yeah,
out,
needs a
man.
fresh set of.
You need to give
fresh
them
set
a
of
break,
dice.
and you need to get a new dice pair in there, one that's fresh and ready. Ready to fight, ready to get stuck in. Right?
Dice have feelings too.
RNGs will
I-
look down upon you and smile.
RNGs.
RNGs.
Now, I think they're upset because they're one of two sets of big dice, and the other one is missing one die.
Ooh, you're
That's
missing
pain.
a big die?
Yeah, eons ago now. Just, yeah, that like fucking Taylor's house used them, and then yeah, just a die went missing. And I didn't. Yeah, and I didn't realize till fucking way later. It's like, I haven't used them in a while. Like, I only have 6 of these. But when was the last time I used these? Like, oh, yeah, I guess. But yeah, that's a long time ago now, though.
Yeah.
So what was that? Your
But yeah.
negative?
That
was
was the things
more.
I wanted to see more
More
of.
of, which is less difficult combats.
Is
But I mean,
Well, no, less murder, always life or death situations.
Yeah.
Which I think it'd be nice to have one of those every once in a while, but I don't think that was on you. I think that was just we were choosing to go into life or death fights.
and I
a little bit column A, a little bit
and,
column B.
Yeah.
and I think I said that like that does come from I'm downed or murdered. We can add downed or
murdered
in
or
every
murdered,
combat.
Yeah.
We can
Well, the
have-
biggest thing that I think is your downfall is you're a ranged character and you never move out of combat. That's the only thing I think you're doing wrong. Because as a ranged character, a lot of the time, like there was one point in the combat where a dog was coming at us.
Also, sorry,
That is-
what feats do you have?
That is actually also very fair because the one time you almost got downed in the hallway fight where we rounded the corner and we saw all the goblins were there, you went ahead of all of us and got just pinned.
At
Yeah.
formation. He broke formation.
Yeah.
And like another little example is when,
Right, you
when
went
you
ahead
and
of
me were by
everybody.
ourselves
Yeah,
and
no,
then
that
people were
one
coming to
I-
us.
that one
I
I
hid in a
did.
tree and you just stood there in the middle of the road.
See that?
But like you see what I'm saying.
Maybe
You don't always do
I'm
it.
not.
but
I'm, like maybe just first try and see maybe if you could reposition.
Try
yourself.
different tactics.
Yeah, just try it, and if that doesn't work, then and it's still like noticeably downing you every
No,
combat.
I refuse.
something else.
I will
It's
do the
definitely
exact
something.
same thing every
Definitely
time
something.
and expect the world to revolve around me. No, that's not you. But
Just always go off the theory of don't get hit ever. As a
Just
ranged
don't get
character.
hit.
That's the
Just
secret.
don't
Don't
get-
ever get hit.
No, that's just the
if
secret.
you're not close,
If they can't kill you, you don't
That's
die.
my secret.
Instead of running
Reduce
to the
mercy.
pit, you could have ran
Imagine.
away from the pit.
How are you gonna hit me now, bitch?
Reposition.
That one was a little different. They surrounded us,
Yeah.
and there
Yeah.
every time he would have been able to move, there was multiple attack of ops on him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we had
that was
people.
kinda-
That-
yeah,
that was
and I mean,
different.
that
Yeah.
was kind of by, yeah.
But that was also a situation where all of us couldn't get away, really. Like,
Yeah.
And to answer your
By design.
and to answer your question, my crossbow ranger has rapid reload and precise shot.
So no point blank shot, I know.
That's happening. This is coming.
yeah.
Yeah, that's next level. It's
Yeah,
only
I-
+1. But that
It's
does
also
mean you were
But,
designed to be shooting
but
from
it's
far
no
away.
minuses.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Is like shooting into melee or shooting into combat when you're within 30 feet.
No,
you
'cause
take
it's-
minuses.
Precise shot, he doesn't get minuses.
Yeah, no, precise shot. Yeah.
Oh,
just-
oh,
yeah,
so
precise shot is
I thought
not
that was
precise
point-
shot,
I thought
Point
that was
blank gives you point blank gives you
One
Oh,
one to
just-
hit and damage. That's it.
just
and,
precise. Okay.
and
Yeah.
is
And
like an entry thing for a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
gives you
with
more
my,
damage and
but
it's
being the ranger in the combat style, I saw precise shot and went, "Hey, I can just take that
combat.
early and
Precise
then
shot's great.
have it, then have
Yeah.
point blank the next level."
Mm.
That way, when I do stuff like that, I'm not taking -4.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you can shoot in melee combat.
With
I
precise
can't.
shot.
I can't be
He can
in
shoot
melee
into
combat.
melee
Yeah.
combat.
Yeah, he can shoot into melee combat. So if Hayden's fighting someone or Bruce is fighting someone, he can shoot that dude who they're fighting.
Yeah.
But if somebody walks up to him and hits him in the face with a stick, he goes, "Oh God, my crossbow's in my hand."
Remember, we're
And he
level
can't
2. We
shoot.
don't have a lot.
just it.
Yeah,
but I said you should've leveled us up.
Yeah.
It all comes back, baby. Roundabout should have leveled us up. This is all your fault.
All your fault. Bad
game
game, bad
sucks.
game.
Me
I
standing
hate
still.
D&D
no.
now.
Such a bad game.
I'm not level 3 yet. What the fuck? I just want to min-max my character and do more big number damage hurting.
I don't know if it's because of just what we've been doing, but I have noticed one thing. We have no treasure. We have received 0 rewards up until this point.
You know what?
Yeah, I
Yeah?
realized that yesterday. We have gotten
We helped the
literally
excavation
nothing.
team literally do the most difficult task, and they gave us nothing.
Well, they gave us
They
two.
gave you a favor.
but they didn't give us any
They-
rewards or anything.
They
like-
got they sent us home.
They,
No, wait, not even. We just
came,
went
no,
they
because
came,
you're-
they
you're
came with
agreeing
us,
on
they
one.
came with us to fight bandits
Yep.
and did almost nothing.
Thomas died.
No, Elthern did a lot.
He hit a couple things. He didn't do
Elthern
a huge
killed a
amount.
couple.
He was cool near the end.
Yeah, up until that
Not
point, he didn't do
really
much.
until the end.
But regardless of that, I've noticed from day 1 to now we have received no rewards because
Well, I
last
mean,
game.
you have a cart with a bunch of stuff inside of it now. What are you talking about?
Okay, we received
Stuff.
1 reward. But that's what I'm saying is little rewards are some of the greatest things in D&D because even if you get 5 gold here, 10 gold here, things
But
like
you
that.
got the gems. You got some gold
gems
from
are
goblins.
worthless as far as we know.
The gems which we're not going to sell because
Yeah.
they're important.
As far as we know, they're worthless,
Well, I mean, and you don't have them now.
and we
Yeah.
don't have them. So like we've received story things or like little important things, but we don't get mundane items ever.
But you have a whole cart
Yeah,
filled
I'm
with
saying
mundane
we have
items.
a cart
That's-
now, but
yeah.
those are also
It's a
selling
cart
goods.
with blankets and like
Yeah,
There's
hide mail.
spears. There's yeah, there is. I said that right
no,
away.
he said there's spears,
and there's
padded armor, and there was food.
There's food and yeah,
That's
you can sell. Yeah, but you can sell that stuff.
But what I'm
What-
saying
what-
is
what-
that's
what-
the
okay,
only
what
one
is
we've
it?
gotten. Do you see what I'm
Are you
saying? Like,
talking-
we should be getting more small rewards in a game because, like, as a party, you want to do something and then be like, "Oh, cool! I found." It doesn't have to be a reward from the quest giver. Like when we went through the Goblin Cave, I found 3 copper. Like that's like a bit of an example.
What?
Like maybe finding a little more items.
Fucking copper I was collecting to buy shit that I
But that's what I mean. Is like
you.
he
Yeah.
struggled to buy basic goods, and we're level 2.
I did
Nobody in the group has
Se-
money except for him.
7
Yeah,
gold
Chris
for
only
a
has
hooded
one
lantern.
That's what
That
I'm
was
saying. Is like
half
we
my
don't have
income.
mundane items. We have cool story things. We have a big thing we can sell later. That's a bit of a task and a thing in itself, though. We don't have like, oh hey, I found a sword off of like, somebody who I might like, or hey, I found 5 gold.
Well,
in a
a
cave.
part of that too is like there hasn't really been too many instances where you have been able to go back. Like,
But the ones where they could show up, they never did. Is what I'm saying.
For instance,
Yeah.
you're going back to the pit.
No, I know.
Where
I know.
there's and you haven't necessarily looked, but you could know what though. I'll give you this. You could in the search for or in the search inside of the
I
hut,
just got
could have
an
found
audition
extra.
for gamer. Hey.
Nice.
Rise up.
But yeah,
Don't
roll.
say the G word at me.
That's what I'm
I'm
saying.
sorry,
That's what you're
everyone.
saying.
Fucking plebs.
None of these
But yeah,
little
yeah.
tiny rewards.
in the hut you could have found more gold that you could have shared amongst the group. Like, hey, let's split loot. And you know what? Yeah,
We have like
I
no
get what you're
loot
saying
to
there.
split other than
That's-
a wagon, right? Like
Yeah, I think that's a specifically like
I got some
loot.
animal fat
That's
that
true.
immediately fell in a pit.
and died.
What do you,
All my
not-
honey and
not fall.
absinthe.
Don't say fall.
It didn't fall. It was
Don't say
pushed.
fall.
My
It's not true.
absinthe.
No.
Not
My
fall.
vial
Not
of
true.
acid.
Yeah. But just that, I think that's an important thing a
son
lot
of
of
a
DMs
bitch.
forget, because I know I've forgotten it too, is just forgetting to give the group
explode.
little tiny
Okay,
fun
I'm
rewards
actually
every
not
once in a
mad
while.
at you.
To make them be
Just
like,
making a joke
oh, that's
I
nice.
think it's actually
Yeah,
fun to
fun.
lose shit.
Yeah, just like, and they
It
don't even
kinda
have to
just-
relate to
especially
what's
'cause I was,
going
like,
on. They could
3
just be,
to
oh,
death.
you found some gold.
Also, that's
on
another
this
thing. Environment.
Guy in a cave.
That's something I want to see more of. Environment mattering, because I was thrown in a cell that was outside
Yeah, that's
in the
true.
freezing cold with no clothes on except for a shirt,
And we brought
and
it up a lot.
then I stood in the snow with no shoes on for an entire conversation, and I didn't get any like subdued
Negatives
cold
or anything,
damage or
or-
like
yeah.
sick or anything. I
Whoa.
just kind of stood there going, I'm cold, even though it's like below freezing, and it takes like not even minutes for you to get hypothermia.
And by the rules in the game, he would start taking.
But I thought you were
immediately.
no, but you said you had your winter cloak still
No,
because
no.
you were
No,
wearing it.
because remember, I got woken up by the guys finding them leaving, and I barely had time to put a shirt on.
Ah, yeah.
And I ran
I
outside,
wasn't even.
and then they grabbed me and went.
I think
"Ah!"
we just missed that. Yeah.
And the other thing is, it also didn't take long, like because between them throwing you guys in the cell and them going and grabbing Chris and missing Silman, that all maybe took like.
But then
10,
we also had our
10
big
minutes.
conversation with him being dead, and then coming back alive, and then to talk more, and then
Yeah.
finally I ran back to the hut.
Also, by the time they got back to the hut, it was later in the day. You even said that.
What do you mean?
You said it was later in the day, like after the afternoon,
When
they got back to the hut.
I don't know.
what
that.
the?
I just
no.
thought it. It felt like there was like 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, it was
But
like
I had
roughly
like
10
a
minutes.
shirt on, and I was in the snow.
Yeah.
Because I was even playing it up like I was role playing. I'm like freezing and I was
Yeah.
huddling up against him, and I was like, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess, and a part of that is like, it didn't make sense at the time mechanically to throw that at you, like
Right.
subdual damage.
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
You are fatigued, and I mean, in a case where I didn't see you guys going
Yeah.
right back to your house.
I will put it this way: I'm okay with a bit of punishment, unlike this.
Yeah,
guy.
I think
Ah,
punishment's
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, he's been extremely punished by dice, by the world,
No,
by poor
not enough.
tactical
Near-
decisions.
By the world.
Not enough.
Not the D&D world. The real
Listen,
The real
listen,
world.
listen here. He may have died. He may have had bad damage, but he got away with 5 ones in a row.
Yeah, that was.
That's
you know what?
legendary.
Yeah, you can't. What do you mean?
No, it was
why
it wasn't 5. It was 4.
Four.
Because I
Almost
remember
five.
we were excited for the
This
5th,
one's
and it
for
wasn't.
you.
All right.
No,
that's
that is still for you. You chose to do nothing. Ones I accept.
Yeah,
Good
that
man.
was not Chris's
Good man.
fault.
Yeah, he took the ones. He took them like
See,
a champ.
I took the ones like, what's gonna happen? How did I fuck up? I broke weapons I didn't really.
You're right. I'll make
Yeah.
easier.
I also
combats
like I
and-
like that too.
Yeah, make
Puts
easier
the javelins
combats
on
I
the
can
bed,
fail
sees
at.
the fire. Okay, nope. That was really funny.
It's like, I see. Just,
Make
I know
easier
an omen when I
combats he
see
can
it.
fail at.
Yeah.
No, see, as Chris said, I want more combat suited for everybody. I want enemies far away so Chris can shoot them. I want enemies grouped up so Glenn can bomb them. I want enemies grouped up so Devin can sleep them, and a lot of corpses for me.
No, wait a second.
I will always get that.
Listen,
Dude, you were in the
from what
cage
you
for
just said,
hours.
that's a lot of corpses.
Yeah,
Because you got captured in the middle of the night.
Oh yeah, right.
And then they woke up
Yes.
the next day and talked to him.
No,
Oh,
it
yeah.
wasn't the
No,
next
it was-
day.
it was-
Because you
the
said
next
the whole
day.
village was there.
No, I think it was that. Wasn't it
No,
that?
it was that night.
Yeah, it was that
it,
night.
it was
still,
that
I
night.
think.
But the thing was that
Well,
your,
also, my
your
hut was over an hour away.
yeah, his hut's an hour away from town.
You said that the first day. It was never close.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah.
I was
So
thinking,
he
yeah,
was
I
in the
saw
snow
it
for
being
hours.
and
You know, there's however long they were in the woods, chasing him. I'm sure,
Yeah.
in theory, the army that was hunting him probably didn't just accidentally kill him and go, well, time to go back to town. They probably continued searching for Devin.
Yeah, because
well, some of them.
And
Yes,
then they
there
also
was
said
a
they had
bunch
the,
of them.
before I even got back to the hut, they said they did like the checking to see if he's
Yeah.
alive and stuff.
checked a bunch
by
of
the
stuff.
Yeah,
physician
that makes
or
sense.
something.
Yeah, and that was just one of those things.
Yeah.
That it's just like
It's not
this
a big
makes
deal,
this,
but-
Yeah, it
makes,
was-
this makes sense.
Make-
story,
Yeah,
like
story-wise.
for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
story for sure.
Yeah. Make the environment hurt. 'Cause
Make the environment hurt.
The cold is one of
Yeah.
the most dangerous things in the world.
Yes,
Exactly.
it is.
Because there was that other moment we brought this up way back when we were sleeping in the snow in bedrolls and nothing happened. Yeah. Like it was another time.
Well, I mean that was earlier, and
It was earlier, it's
wasn't-
not a big
It wasn't
deal.
quite as cold. Yeah,
No, I know,
yeah.
but I'm just, environment should not be fun if it's going to be a gameplay element, right?
That's something that we and it's
well, no,
something
it should
that
be fun, but
obviously
it should have.
Yeah, that's why it was just a more of.
Yeah.
It's not like a
more,
negative.
yeah,
It was,
yeah,
it
yeah.
was,
Not a
it was
negative,
more like
just
a.
more.
It was more like a hey, maybe if the environment's gonna be hostile, make it hostile.
Make it hostile.
Yeah.
Maybe it's cold sucker.
it's snowing. If I don't have shoes on, my toes are going to fall off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Well, go
bad.
stand in the snow for 10 minutes with no shoes on.
You don't
feel
have
the
to-
cold real quick.
Yeah.
No, jump in cold.
I was actually watching a
Jump in
really
cold
cool.
showers.
It was a really cool video. I didn't expect it to be so long, but it was just this guy talking about the cold.
Oh, is it Wim Hof?
I don't know.
Is that the guy who goes and he
that's-
scaled
yeah.
Mount Everest in his boots?
No,
in,
you know,
in a Speedo.
It's the guy
It
who
was-
goes in freezing cold water.
No,
and
it was
his
talking.
body
It was
temperature
just a
doesn't
guy
change or
talking about the cold,
Yeah.
and he was talking about just different stories of the cold, and like one of them was about this.
It's quickly.
What the hell was it? It was just he was talking about like a short story, and it was about this guy who was trekking through the Yukon in the cold, and how he had his dog with him, and he felt confident, and he was ready, and it was some -40. And he knows how to survive in the bushes, but the problem is you make a mistake in the cold amplifies mistakes very
Quickly.
infinitely,
Yes.
right? And so what he did was he's like, oh, I'm getting cold, I need to set up for the night, so he makes a fire, and then so he's feeling cold, his hands are getting numb, and he can't really feel, he's starting to get like that jittery, can't touch anything, but he makes the fire. But then he made the fire, unfortunately for him, under a tree, and so it melted the snow on the branch, and it put the fire out.
Yeah.
And so he had to he's like, okay, fuck, but I know what I'm doing, I can make another fire. So he starts to prep for another fire, but at that point, since he was so cold, his hands weren't working,
Yeah.
he couldn't get the matches out of his pocket, so he had to throw them on the ground into the snow. They got wet.
Right.
He had to fumble with them to start the fire.
Yeah.
Eventually, he got all of them lit all at once. And even though he was burning his fingers, he had to start the fire.
Yeah.
And then by then it was too late. The fire wasn't starting. So he's like, I'm gonna die. So he turned to his dog and went, I have to kill this dog to warm my hands up to start a fire.
Wow.
But then he couldn't even do that because he loved the dog.
Yeah.
So he just started running. And he's like, in the story, he's like running for hours and hours and hours, but it was actually only like 100 meters, and then he just died.
Wow.
Right? It was that cold.
Yeah. Well,
Now-
once you start getting cold in the cold,
It was just
you
freaky.
can't
Like,
get.
Yeah,
no,
just
Don't be a pussy.
yeah, or the guy who climbed Mount Everest, one of the earlier summits of trying to summit Mount Everest, and he was climbing, and he was well prepared and stuff. But as he was climbing, he started choking on something, and he's like, "Oh, like Jesus, I can't breathe." So he started coughing, and he coughed and coughed and coughed, and he got into a position where he could sit, and he kept coughing, and he's like, "I'm gonna die on whatever this is." And eventually, he finally coughed out what was choking him. And he looked at it, and it was this weird lump of something. Turns out it was a chunk of his larynx that froze due to hypothermia. He was fine. He lived for another 50 years. But he just didn't notice because that's how dangerous the cold is.
Yeah.
He just coughed out a part of his larynx.
Yeah.
Like, that's fuck.
Cold is a very easy way to die.
So and speaking of which, I think that becomes a good talk about like difficulty and things that we want to see and because mechanics. I think we can all agree it should be a nice mix of mechanics and story.
Yeah, you don't want to be like playing Dark Souls.
Because I don't want. Yeah, I don't.
3 letters. CBT.
Too spicy.
No,
Check
I
it
think
out.
I think just keeping in mind that like keep realism in mind for when there is dire situations.
Yeah, well,
like
and
when my horse got thrown in the pit and everything blew up, I was like, we're out in the middle of the fucking woods in the snow. I'm gonna die. Like all my stuff was on there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
And then it just nothing happened.
Well, a part of that was like you had the cart. You were lucky enough to have a couple of people who had extra stuff. But I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I mean
It's
what,
a good way to create tension without even having to make a villain.
Yeah,
Well,
like
I
if
mean,
we have
that
to get
was
back
what
to town because
happened.
we're gonna freeze to death, like that's a
that was what happened when you guys got fatigued going up and like the moose destroyed your stuff and you didn't have your things and then you got ambushed, right?
Yeah.
Like so
Yeah.
so it's something I like it and I think it's a lot of fun.
The environment's a lot of fun. I like
And you can do so many different things and it's just another one of those things about putting it where it will have the most impact. Funny enough, using it so that it will have the most impact on the story. Really,
use it as an opportunity to create story
I
or
think it
create
can be
tension
both.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
just tension,
'Cause,
situations,
like the
atmosphere.
last time, that time, unfortunately, when I went to leave to go get our stuff and I rolled the 1 on my survival and got lost. Immediately, I found a guy who just Deus Ex saved me.
Yeah.
It could have been more like you could have played that out longer. Like I started freezing to death. I was dying of the cold.
Yeah, maybe he
maybe
was
I even
desperate.
passed out, and I'm like, my character's gonna die.
Yeah.
And then he saves me, and it's like, oh god. At that point, I'm like, thank you, like whatever powers. Instead of this guy's just gonna save my butthole.
Or it even leaves the opportunity of where like, we've been sitting here for 4 hours as a group and he hasn't come back yet.
We should try and
We
find
should
him.
go find him, right?
Yeah.
And then it's a little mini adventure in and of
Yeah.
itself, and nobody has to die.
Just
necessarily.
opportunities, right?
Yeah.
You can use
I'll find a
that
way.
to just
Find a
do more
chip.
stuff.
But yeah. I think what Glenn said earlier of like
Just an idea.
choosing when its realism should come into play is definitely when it's like the most dire.
Yeah.
Right? Like it doesn't have to be super realistic up until then.
Yeah,
but
we
if,
don't
like,
have to be like, the snow.
Yeah.
Fuck, we have to prep and
Yeah, because I don't think any of us for this game were thinking like of a survival game,
No,
right?
but like
this
if you're
wasn't
gonna
like-
bring in a snow blizzard, like a blizzard, and then like we're stuck in the woods with low supplies, we didn't plan it out, blah blah blah, and then maybe we're stuck.
you
there.
should get
Definitely
a
start
little
bringing it in.
hammered.
Yeah,
You
because
should
then we're
get a
like,
little
okay,
hammered.
now this is a problem. We have to do this. We have to think of spells to cast. We have to figure something out, or we're gonna die in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's just use what's available because it just it's a great way to create tension, I think, because at that point that would help with that problem of, hey, we want more tension and we want a bit more fear in this game. It would be like, oh yeah, when we're stuck out in the snow with nothing, there's an opportunity to make us scared for our lives
And it makes the
without
world
actually
feel very real,
putting us
too,
in the negatives
right?
in a combat situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tension without killing us, or
Yeah, you
necessarily
don't even need to
leading
make an
combat.
opponent.
Yeah.
You just have to go, hey, you don't have a lot of stuff and you're cold. You could just be behind the table and just like roll a d4 and go, you'll take 4 cold damage. And we all just go,
Excuse me?
ah!
Yeah.
Because now we're suddenly like, now we're taking cold damage.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Ah!
Only way to
And,
get
and
rid of
if
that
you
is
want to look it
heat.
up, it's actually really simple. The weathering systems are very easy to use.
Well, that's kind of what I was using. It's like
Yeah.
you guys are fatigued and this and the other. But yeah, you start taking damage after a certain amount of time and so on and so forth.
Just a
And-
great way to go, all right, you've made mistakes. I can now, you know, you rolled terribly or something. Now I can
Yeah.
create a little tension here.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, like
You don't have
And
to go
it's something-
looking for it. You don't have to be like, yes, I'm going to make them freeze today. It could be more like, oh, we're playing our game. You know, we're having fun, and then suddenly someone, like I did, rolled a 1, like to make a fire, and we're like, shit. And then we look at the spellcaster and he's like, I can't cast anything right now, or something like that. And we're like,
yeah. It's like, oh great, we're stuck in the woods.
Yeah,
No
for an
spells,
hour.
we're fighting. Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Yeah, and you're like, well, we're gonna be taking damage for an hour.
Someone hug the wizard while he preps his spells so he doesn't freeze to death, and then he can cast whatever spell,
Yeah.
like Burning Hands or something. Like, I don't know. It's
Isn't
just an
it-
idea.
And it doesn't always have to be
Isn't it
snow.
con
Rain is
damage?
not great, but
Isn't it- isn't
no,
it-
no,
I
but it
think
does
it's just
subdual
damage.
damage.
I don't know.
It does subdual damage until a certain
Just an
point.
idea. Like,
But
it
yeah,
starts
I
to be meaningful.
see
Yeah.
what you're talking
Just
about.
rounds about to great way to create tension without even having to put us in a 3-hour combat, right?
Mhm.
We don't have to start a combat and sit there all session rolling dice and fighting to go, yee.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, totally.
Crap, I wanted to talk about that today. One thing that I already mentioned it before, right? Of the whole walk around the pit thing, that was a little weird. I think that's
Yeah.
not necessarily to pick at the game. I just think that's a good point to bring up in general of finding opportunities to not roll the dice sometimes.
Oh yeah, and
I
that
think
was
that's
what
something
we were
a lot of
talking
people
about
get
with.
stuck in with D&D, right? Is they think they have to roll for everything.
Well, I mean, you do want to give your players the opportunity to roll because players love rolling dice.
I agree,
And-
but
we
well,
had talked
like
off.
rolling
So
dice.
so to give everybody a little bit of context, we had talked off camera about passive perceptions and passive
Just like skill
sense
checks.
motive.
Yeah.
yeah,
in
yeah.
general, yeah.
But specifically those because for one, as a DM, you want to be able to create tension and not let your players know everything that's going on. That being said, you want to give them the opportunity to tell when somebody's gonna lie or when somebody's doing something.
Yeah.
But every time you ask, like, roll a sense motive,
Sus.
you're immediately sus.
It's good to
So-
trust your players with not metagaming, but it's also really, really good to give those players less information so they're spooked.
Right?
Then they can create better. Ooh, surprise!
And now there are situations like traps and that kind of thing, where you should be able to, where then it makes sense. It's like, okay, roll a sense motive, and then it's like, oh, something weird's here, but I don't know what. So but the point is that keeping the fog of war while also giving your players the opportunity to interact with the story is a whole juggling act in itself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
it's something we've all
but
fought
passive
for a
brings
long
that.
time. I remember before when we were doing like trying to figure out ways to, make sure people, when we say roll perceptions, people don't go, there's something bad happening. We used to just go, like as DMs we'd go, time roll perceptions, and there would be nothing.
yeah.
Even if you got like a 30, it'd be like, oh, it's a beautiful day. There's like
You see
wonderful
clouds in the
clouds
sky.
and things like that. Hey, Merc, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you.
Yeah, he's a pretty man, ain't he?
He is a beautiful man.
Damn.
Look at him, so sexy.
I'm dead inside.
But yeah.
Yeah, like I think the
Well, because
we've all,
yeah.
it's been a struggle for DMs forever. It's like, how much information is it safe to give my players and also create story, right?
Yeah, because you can fall into I've fallen into the trap of not giving players enough information and also giving too much information, right? Like
Everyone,
it's
yeah.
and it's one of those things you constantly learn to improve on. And
Yeah.
I mean, because before, like in D&D 3.0, which we started on, and Pathfinder, they didn't really have a system for passive perception. So it was a mix between telling your players when and players going out on a hunch to roll and be like, hey, I'm going to roll a sense motive on this guy. I don't necessarily trust him. And now with the benefit of the, what 5th edition did with passives and that
I
sort
much
of thing.
prefer passives over the
I
idea,
think passives are infinitely better.
because like we were saying before, if there's if you have to as a player ask, every time you to roll a sense motive or a perception, right? It just makes the players paranoid, and it creates more of a player versus DM aspect. It adds that because it becomes the DM is now holding information back from me unless I actively do something about it against the DM, right? I have to make sure I'm constantly against the DM. Like, I have to roll sense. I met someone. They could be a spy, sense motive. They could be a lich, sense motive. I have to, it puts the players on edge against the DM, which is why I think the passive is a really great idea.
Yeah.
And what was I gonna say? There was it just becomes the meta paladin of I detect evil, detect evil, detect evil,
Yeah,
detect
right.
evil,
Yeah,
detect
yeah,
evil,
yeah.
detect evil. What's that? You're evil, or what's that? You set off my sense motive alarm. I kill him. Like, it's like,
And but I mean that was old school D&D,
right?
And that was
and that's even an option to choose. Like, if I want to play that, I'll choose to play that, and I'll tell you I'm gonna choose to play that. I don't want to have to be that when I don't want to, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't want to be a paranoid character.
Well,
But
and I mean,
this might, having to ask to roll all the time might make that a thing.
Yeah, and
because being forced to take that active role basically means that unless I want to be that paranoid guy, I am naive to everything, and there's not much of an in between.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
that is
because
the problem.
what we did, this is the way that we ended up doing it before. It was a bit of a trust on the individual, right? Like, so it was like using your discretion, and and especially when we were kids or when we were young, we would just be like, okay, I perceive everything, and but then I don't know. I found at a point, and I like the system of passives. But it ended up becoming like a back and forth. Like, most of the people who we meet, I kind of trust, but every now and then you meet a weird guy and you sense motive. But what this does is it takes out that question entirely, and it just puts it on my decision.
It doesn't take it out. What it does is it makes it so your character can. It's easier to roleplay, I think, because instead of that moment where you go, "I'm Devin, the player, and suspicious of the character the DM's using," now my character senses that something's off.
Yeah,
I don't go, I'm
uses the
suspicious
character's
as
info.
Devin, and now I'm sussing him, so I have to make my character do it.
Exactly.
My character has better intuition than I do, so he notices this thing, and then I can go, wow, okay, so my character's going to do this, instead of the whole, I'm Devin, that's sussy, I'm going to be a sussy Devin now. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it helps you stay in character a lot more because, like you said, and I think I mentioned it last time too, is just the fact that, like, our characters' stats are not us.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, if we have ranks in sense motive, our characters are probably going to be more wise to the guiles of rogues.
In tune.
Exactly. People like that. So they, it might be a bit easier for them. And also, another idea for that is if it's something you as the DM feel you want to withhold from us, for sure. Like, it's like, this is going to make a big, cool story element. Like, I'm going to introduce this really cool character, and they're going to help him out and be friends, but they're actually like don't give us the sense motive at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is something to be said.
thing.
There is something to be said about not doing that, only because that removes a bit of the game aspect.
Right.
Because I mean, how many times have
But
you played?
how are we supposed to know if
That's
it's
just
passive?
it. That's
right?
just it.
Maybe,
But that's the thing. I think
at that point
sometimes
you can
it could be
choose,
used.
and we as players will be none the wiser because a lot of the times, like as a DM, even I fudge dice.
Yeah.
For cool stories.
And, well, I mean, that's one of the things everybody agrees on is dungeon masters don't cheat.
So why can't they cheat on story elements?
Yeah, they should be able to do it with something like that.
Right?
Too.
Well, I mean, now. I mean, this is just me playing devil's advocate. Like, I keep that in mind. But there is something to be said about just going on the rolls and going doing everything as the dice may fall, letting the dice fall as they may.
And that's a conversation you should have before the game.
Totally.
That's a thing you should go before the game. What kind of game are we playing? Are we playing a game that's solely on the dice?
Yeah.
Dice only, rolls only. There is going to be no cheating on any side. Like, everything is like set in motion. If I put a monster in front of you, I'm not changing its stats. I'm not going to add more thing. Like,
Yeah. I mean, as a I think as a DM for sure, but I think as players, it's disadvantageous for players to too cheap. But
Yeah.
it's something
for fun. Yeah, if you want to have, if you're looking to have fun, which is what D&D should always be about. You should always come in going, I want to have fun. Cheating's usually not fun.
No,
especially as the player.
I'm here to win.
Yeah,
But
I'm here to win.
the other
Dungeons
thing is
and
every
Dragons.
player has at one small point or another cheated. Some people cheat a lot.
Yeah.
That's not okay. No. But there is moments definitely where I've been in a game and I'm like, if this bad thing happens right at this moment, everyone's going to be upset about it. Maybe I did better than I said. It's not natural 20, but
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think a part of it is like that's a part of the game is failing and losing, and that's why we have dice. Otherwise we would just we would play a story, like we would just tell a collective story. That's a part of the fun is the randomness.
Okay, yes, but
part of the
devil's
fun.
advocate to what you're saying is you're taking it to a massive extreme. I'm saying maybe once in like every 7 billion encounters.
Yeah,
it's not often.
Yeah, I think it just comes with. I think it's just a maturity thing.
Yeah, you choose moments that are fair.
Because back in the day, I would cheat a lot because I felt like if I failed, I'd look dumb, right? And I didn't want to look dumb playing D&D. I was playing D&D to be a...
We're playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I was playing...
Yeah.
Well, I was playing... when I was younger, I was playing D&D to roleplay as this big, bad dude who's cool and doesn't fail and is not a loser and is not me because I think I'm a loser and so I'm playing this cool guy.
Why a lot of us play.
That's why a lot of people play role-playing games because you get to be a dope motherfucker, right?
Yeah,
so
it's a power fantasy.
Yeah, and as you mature, you notice, you let the failures just become a thing more often.
Yeah.
And you have that conversation with your DM more. So I don't cheat as a player at all anymore, just because I put my trust in the DM that he's gonna turn whatever it is into something fun. Even if I die, I trust it'll be fun.
Oh,
and
you
the
should
other
never
thing,
cheat to prevent a death. That's not
right.
Good.
Like
if you die, don't cheat. That's not cool.
even if I get a natural one, I just trust that it's gonna be something like it's gonna be goofy, right? Or terrifying, or just something to invest in. Yeah. Instead of back then where it was like, oh, if I roll a 1, everyone's gonna be like, he failed his attack, and now I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that, so I'm gonna fudge it a little, right? Nowadays, it's like I rolled a 1. All right, how fucked am I?
Yeah.
Like how messed up is this gonna be, right?
I think the big thing is trusting your players.
More now.
Yeah. The big thing, like you said, maturity is you're generally gonna play in a group of people you can trust if it's not a random group, and like if you're trusting your players to be fair instead of the whole DM, because one thing that nobody really talks about is DM fear. That is a bad tool.
That's a real DM
fear is a bad tool that a lot of DMs don't think about. Is when you go, I'm DMing, I'm afraid of all this. You should not be afraid of anything.
Well, no, but that's
because
a
you're
part of
saying
that
that,
is
right?
like,
You're playing to have fun. So if you're like, I'm afraid of this character's abilities. Well, now the whole thing's focused on that, and nobody wants that, right?
Well, I think it's more. That we could even just talk about like. And sorry, just I wanted to say more on your point was. Like being able to separate yourself from your character and separate the real from the fantasy and like that's a maturity like thing because we only ever do these things if we feel like it's a reflection of us, right? And more on to your point, which kind of plays in the same thing, is being afraid of what others think if you. Like, especially as a DM, like, if you make people fail, or if people, if things are going badly for the players, or things are going poorly, and being afraid, like, oh, people are gonna be upset. Like, it's like, well it's maybe. But like, it's a game. It's a game, right?
Yeah, and that's like trust in the 2 ways, right? The two-way trust.
And one thing, to be fair, sometimes being upset can play into something super cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes the group being like, wow, this guy sucked, I hated him, can play into a really cool rivalry all of a sudden.
Well,
right?
yeah, so long as
as long as the players are
everyone's mature
mad.
about it.
Yeah. As long as the player
mature
isn't
about it.
angry and being big baby man.
Angry.
Yeah, as long as you're not like, me angry, game bad.
Yeah, I think it all just comes down to maturity because like
it's never been
like a lot of the times we could have a huge heated argument in game and just immediately go out and go, that was cool, like, hey, I like how my character
I've had a lot of
with
that
you
before. Yeah.
And
the
it's not for everybody.
System that we should probably just remind ourselves of now and again.
Yeah, we all and we don't like even with the thumbs ability. It's just being able to trust in the two-way street of the fact that like, hey, we're all here to have fun.
Yeah.
If something's I can as a player I can trust the DM to make an interesting story or just make interesting choices, and the DM can trust his players to take those choices and use them. Right?
Yeah.
Like if the DM if the DM you know, if you rolled a natural 1, the DM then decides, oh, you know, like you spear your friend in the back of the head, or you shoot your friend in the back of the head, then the trust just kind of gets tossed between the two, right? And as long as that keeps going, it's fun.
Yeah.
When the trust gets cut off, when it's like the DM says, oh, like just not even an example, just like a fake scenario. The DM goes, you shoot your friend in the back of the head, right? And he's, you know, he takes a bunch of damage. He's not dead. And that player goes, what the hell? That's so stupid. Like, that's dumb. Like, that shouldn't happen. That's the trust just going, right?
Well, yeah, it's
like, hey, you took that personally.
If you take it personally, that's when you slow the game down.
Yeah,
You're like, okay, whoa, what's going on
Didn't mean
here?
to hurt your feelings, right? I'm here to make an interesting story. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to create a story, and you're participating in it.
Story.
Yeah, I'm not hurting you. I'm hurting your character.
Yeah.
Very different.
Very different.
Very different.
And also the other thing, sometimes dice land where they land.
well, and it should, and I think it all goes back to. Well, I mean, sorry, buddy.
Alon, you.
Oh yeah.
This is just Alon.
Yeah, you're pulling a me. Like, what the hell?
What's wrong with you? Stop copying me.
Come on. Functionally, nothing wrong. But
Yeah, functionally, there's
yeah.
nothing wrong, except you are a ranger. That's a problem. But other than that, you're doing okay.
Yeah, you chose.
But
to
yeah, we're
class of
looking.
D&D.
We still
What the
have
fuck
like
is
10
wrong with
minutes.
Could always
we
be
have a
worse.
couple minutes.
You
I'm
could
just
have been
warning
Nick's ranger who broke
Yeah,
his
that
bow 7 times.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, and that one game nearly double mine once.
He's just like, I'm gonna shoot my bow, breaks the bowstring. Oh, I'm gonna shoot my bow, breaks the bowstring.
Oh man,
Keeps doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe I should roll his dice.
Yeah.
You want the curse dice?
Yeah, maybe that's what I need.
But
Double
it's-
negatives.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of things, but I think that ultimately you're right. It's a matter of trusting the DM to
trusting everyone just to have fun.
just to have
Trusting
fun,
everyone
just
to
doing
try and
anything.
have fun.
Trust everyone to have
and
fun.
I mean, everyone's gonna screw up
And
every once in a while, but that's what the
we're all
rules
learning.
and talking and
There's
you know.
people learning how to have fun and play a game, and now we're learning the stream.
We're not people.
We're trying.
I'm a
I mean,
creature.
We're doing a lot. We're all doing. This is probably the best, one of the better
Sure
runs that
are
we've
trying.
had. Yeah, don't even.
No, they see the orbs.
How good you've removed Hayden.
Oh yeah, I haven't sent you the picture. I have a picture of our setup that I want you to post on our socials because it's a disaster, man.
is.
It's awesome.
Gotta say, I'm actually quite shocked we went this far without the bowl.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we've just it's been good.
This was purely plus minus.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
One
we
thing
just-
I wanted to put in the bowl, and I brought up briefly, is I think it's a good topic to bring up maybe next week, is DM fear, and just talking about how you can manage it as a DM and how you can avoid being too fearful, because a little bit
Like fear
necessary.
as a DM or fear of.
Well,
the DM?
like a good thing is like a DM being afraid of your characters getting too strong.
Oh.
A lot of DMs do that, and that can like.
Never be afraid. You're the DM. You're
You're
God.
You're beyond God. You're beyond gods. You're beyond anything.
Yeah, you can do anything.
Here's how
Remember,
powerful.
being a dungeon master is a power trip, and you should constantly trying to win.
Yes.
That's-
Always
if
kill
ever-
every player.
Here's how powerful you are as a DM. If the players say, we win against you, we beat you, Mr. DM, the DM can stand up and leave, and DMD never
Yeah,
happens.
it never happened.
They
Gone.
win.
You can rage quit.
You
Dungeons
can
and
rage
Dragons.
If a player can rage quit, the game can go on. The DM rage quits, never again. You can't play D&D anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone has to become the
But
DM.
I think it's a good topic to bring up, especially with experienced groups, because I find as groups go on longer and longer, because I've seen my dad's group before we used to all play, and then now, we've played for a long time. So I've noticed that, when you play for a long time, you develop habits, and sometimes those habits as a DM you have to pay attention to, of like,
Barbarian!
Be afraid of barbarians, they are terrible.
Me hurt! Me like play Smash!
But, like,
That's my habit.
anyways, we'll get into that next week, but more or less just the topic of, like, bringing up how to manage that and how to talk about with your players and be fair to them instead of being afraid of them, right? Like, you shouldn't be afraid of your players. You should be trying to make them have a great time.
Just there to have fun.
Don't
I
take
agree.
their treasures
But,
away or take their abilities. Just be like,
Well,
that's sick. Let's make it work.
Just make it fun. Like, if you're gonna take someone's abilities away, discuss with them first.
Well, yeah.
Well,
First,
talk about it.
first talk about it, and also make it fun. Make it like the gods deemed you too powerful and physically
okay?
came and
I just
stripped
had
your
a
power
good
from
example.
you, and you're
Just
like,
if you horribly penalize one of your players because he was caught in a magical explosion in a Rifts campaign, maybe you should talk about what you do to him.
Fuck, that's a nice head. Some good head.
Yeah, maybe. That seems.
Yeah.
Boom.
I I mean, to be fair, you turned Braden into a spider.
Yeah, and see,
Anyway, that's me deflecting.
That was a deflection.
And also things like that. Sometimes players really like Braden really likes getting cursed, and so he actively asks DMs, "Oh, what's this curse about? What's gonna happen?"
And when I
super
did that,
better.
I talked to him about the exact details about how this was going to turn out.
That's true. They worked it out hardcore.
He loved it.
They
He's
figured
like,
it
am I
out.
gonna become a spider thing? I don't know. What's happening? What do you want to know? Like,
That's
am I gonna
fair.
get claws? Am I gonna?
Being a spider was also an ability.
Listen, this is my L. This is me trying to push blame on an L that I need to just sit on.
And when
It's
we
okay.
rebooted
Sit
it,
on your
I
L.
think- And when we rebooted the game, which was
It's just up
a
to.
whole
It's up
thing,
to.
I
It
gave
becomes a
the
conversation.
option to retcon the curse.
Okay.
Anything can be
fucking
fun
around.
if both parties come at it and go like, hey, how are we gonna work?
Hey, you got how many
Yeah.
days between your
Even
game?
CBT.
Utilize those.
Yeah.
Unless
You're
you're
really
playing
on that
multi-back.
train right now. So you want to tell us?
I've just
Did you awake?
Okay.
I've decided to just like pick like a word or phrase and just use it a lot every day. You know, a couple earlier in the week it was a non-Euclidean.
Yeah,
Non-Euclidean.
he
He
got
got
non-Euclidean
non-Euclidean geometry.
What's
Yeah.
today's?
CBT.
Oh,
Yeah, he said it like 4 times this stream.
Bruh. CBD.
it's pretty much all he
T.
said.
I want to put my head through a wall at
CBD?
work today.
CBT. CBT.
No.
All
right.
With that, thanks everybody. This was a really good session, actually,
That's
and
terrible.
we can't wait to see you next
horrible.
week. And
Get me out, please.
I mean Friday.
I'm trapped.
well, I guess it's
That's
Friday.
not
See you guys
Week.
Friday. We'll
See you
play more
Friday.
D&D.
Yes.
We'll probably kill some things.
Hopefully 7:30.
Specifically
Google shows.
bandits.
I mean, apparently it's 8.
All right, let's go to the end
8
card.
o'clock.
I mean, that gives us 4 hours. That's fine.
All right. See you later.
Fuck you.
Yeah,
And I mean, preferably one.